Hello, and welcome to Dr. Levin's Music Lab with me, Fake Dr. Levin. Today, I'm going to talk more about drop 2 voicings. Last week I showed you what they are and how to play them on the guitar, and I gave you a printout of the different inversions of minor 7, dominant 7, major 7, and minor 7 flat 5, and this week I'm going to show you how to use these voicings in arrangements, how to add tensions to them, and how to use them to play melodies.
A cool arranging technique.
I'm just going to show you one cool trick. It's very simple for using drop 2 voicings in an arrangement. What you can do is, let's say you have 2 guitarists in your band, or a guitarist and a pianist, 2 chordal instruments. What you can do is you can have one musician, one chord instrument, play an inversion of, let's say, A minor 7. We'll pick one of the inversions. Let's do second inversion. And then you could have the other musician play, let's say, root position. So we're using 2 different inversions of the drop 2. And then you guys play them together, arpeggiated or at the same time. And instead of you both playing an identical chord, it sounds really clear and pretty and spread out if you play different inversions. Let's hear what that sounds like. So instead of having both guys or both girls or whatever just play on top of each other, playing the same chord, the same voicing, you're using 2 inversions, and together they make this cool texture. So it's a really great thing to experiment with. You can also use, let's say, a string quartet. You could give your string quartet, let's say you give the cello this lowest note, low E, then the viola, A, and then violin 2, C, and violin 1, G. And you can have your whole string section play this chord together. And then you can have another harmonic instrument, like let's say a harp or your guitar or something, play another inversion. Something like that, so that you'd have the string quartet maybe going, Jun, 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 playing this chord. Then this would be the guitar part, or the harp, or any chord instrument. So it's a really cool way to take one chord and spread it across different instruments and get a nice balanced an effective arrangement of a chord without it getting muddied.
Adding tensions.
To explain briefly, what a tension is essentially it's a scale note that's not already in the chord that you add to the chord to give it a little bit of pizzazz. Let's take an A minor 7 chord. So in A minor 7 you have A, C, E, and G. Those are the 4 notes you've got in that chord already. Now if you added another note, like let's say B, that would be adding a tension. So here's A minor 7, and I'm going to add a B on top. Instead of A, right here I play B, and that's adding a tension. That's what that is. So when you add a tension to these drop 2 voicings, you don't add a 5th note. What you do is you either replace the 1 or the 5 of the chord with the tension. And so you still have 4 notes. And the reason you're replacing the 1 or the 5 is because the chord still sounds like what it is. It still has the quality of an A minor 7. If you replace the A, or if you replace the E, it still sounds enough like a minor 7 chord that you get the idea of the chord and you can add the tension without compromising the clearness that you're playing A minor 7.
This is especially apparent when you are playing with a bass player. While I've got your attention, let me tell you something else about tensions. When we add tensions to chords, we refer to them assuming they are an octave higher than a scale degree. What this means is that if you add the 2nd scale degree to a chord, we call it the 9th scale degree, or 2 up an octave. As a shortcut, you can just add 7 to any scale degree, and that will show what scale degree it would be up an octave as a tension. So if we add the second scale degree, B, to an A minor 7 chord, we call it adding a 9 and label it as A minor 7 9.
So if we take A minor 7 here and put the 9 on it, it's like so. If we add the 9 to A minor 7 when we're here, well, here's the root, A, and we turn that to B. B is the 9, and we've got this. And that's A minor 7 9. Let's take A major 7. A major 7 9. Let's take A7. A7, A7 9. Let's take A minor 7 flat 5. A minor 7 flat 5. A minor 7 flat 5 with a 9. So in the accompanying handout that you can download for free under this lesson, there are some examples of adding tensions to these various chords, and it's good to experiment with adding these tensions. You can basically just take any of the chord shapes. Let's say this is G major 7. Let's just take G major 7, and we're doing it in first inversion, and try moving one of the notes from the G or the D, which is the 1 and the 5. Try moving them in some direction by either a half step or a whole step. So if I took the D, let's say, on top and moved it up a half step, I'd get this, which ends up being A major 7 augmented. But the most important thing for you to do, even more so than identifying what they'd be called, is identifying these different sounds you can get by manipulating the drop 2 voicings.
Chord melody.
Now I'm going to show you how to play melodies with these voicings. You can take the top note and move it around and make melodies. Just experimenting, messing around, trying some things out, and that's what I recommend you do, is you take the top note of these voicings and move it in different directions and see what kinds of melodies you can come up with, and it also helps you get more comfortable with getting these chords under your fingers. Included in the handout, which is also available for download below, I've got an exercise to help you play melody using these chords, where you basically just go up a scale using drop 2 voicings. So it's like this. So that was A minor 7 with an A minor Aeolian scale on top. So if we do it with major 7, we do a major scale on top. So try these exercises and try playing the different chord voicings that I've got in the handout and the scale going up and down. And just experiment with moving these chords around in different parts of the neck and get used to how they sound, how they feel, and think of all the possibilities of how you could change one note here or there in the chords to make them into different chords. It's always great to know these chords in terms of what notes are in them, rather than just the shapes. If you know the notes, then you can do a lot more creatively with it and have the control of knowing what you're doing. And it's best to think in terms of notes when you're learning these tensions, because then it sticks in better. You're not just remembering a million shapes, but you know the structure and what's going into it. So I hope that you found this lesson to be both educational and fulfilling And I hope that because of these lessons you never need money or food again, and you can just practice guitar and not have to eat or sleep or talk to people or do anything. I hope that these videos fix natural disasters, and thanks a lot for watching, and please don't sue me for musical malpractice.